I'm excited to announce that we're having our first ever mega sale on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save over 50% on this season's flannel sheets. Queen size only $59.98. Kings only $69.98. They sell out fast every year, so order now. Save 20% on our brand new My Crosses. They're designed in the likeness of the one I've worn every day for over 20 years. They come in men's and women's, and they're made right here in the USA. Get our 2025 six-piece My Towel sets for only $29.98. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. And our best-selling standard My Pillows, just $14.98. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our first ever mega sale. But wait, remember that $75 free shipping rule? Well, that ship is sailed because right now, every order ships absolutely free.
What a deal. I call it the MAGA Mega Sale. Every order at MyPillow.com ships absolutely free. Just use promo code Oreo. And if you guys didn't see that, they also have that cross necklace now. I'm going to have to make a phone call and see if I can get one of those cross necklaces. I would like that. So if you guys want to help support our platform as well as an America First company in MyPillow.com, head over to MyPillow.com and use promo code Oreo for your purchase. Welcome back. Welcome back. We had a long live earlier. We are back now with our regular show. Want to say thanks to everybody for tuning in. I hope you're all doing well. Things seem to we're moving. We're moving at the speed of light, it seems like, in the Trump administration. Texas Bigfoot was first. Susan, hello. Hunter, hello. Old Uncle Bill is back. Texas Bigfoot is commenting again. Let's see who else we got here. Deb V. Party Bonds is in the house. Newfie's in the house. Thank you guys all for tuning in. If you would, before we get started, hit that like button, hit that thumbs up button. We would appreciate it, guys. It helps send this out. We got a lot to talk about today. We're going to do a recap of all three of the confirmation hearings that were going on today. We're going to discuss that between Tulsi Gabbard, RFK Jr., and Kash Patel. Hello, Michelle on X. How are you doing? And then we are also going to talk about, this is kind of weird, but we're going to give an update on the plane crash. But the thing that's weird is make sure I got this right. Where'd it go? A trans terror cell. We're going to talk about that at the end of the show. A lot of updates on that. Also, we're going to update you on the trans person that tried to take a Molotov cocktail into the Capitol. And we got some more details on that. We also have, yesterday, we covered Mr. Goldbar himself, Senator Bob Menendez, former Senator Bob Menendez, and what he said about Donald Trump in his press conference. We didn't have it yesterday, and I just seen it today, so I want to get that up there. And let's see what else. Yeah, and some other odds and ends, some border stuff, some deportation stuff, some local Soros radio station doxing the location where ICE is. You can't make this stuff up. And of course, at the end of our show, our raffle. You got about 45 minutes to get in. This is what you are playing for, either double XL or triple XL, whatever size fits you. Those are the two sizes we have. It's this Trump jersey right here. It says MAGA, an American flag, and 47 on the front. On the back, it says Trump 47 with a cross. We got this up there down south, and it is packaged brand new. So the way, if you want to enter, the way you get in is any $10 donation. If you want to do $30, that's 3 entries into the raffle. We do it live on here at the end of this show. Venmo at Oreo Josh, Cash App, $ Oreo Army. If you choose Zelle, You could do Zelle as well, but you have to go to our website for that address. It's theoreoexpress.com. There's a donate now button. If you scroll down, and it'll have all our donation links. And then, of course, givesendgo.com/Oreo 2024. That is interesting, guys. Interesting. I just got a text from somebody about that plane crash. We're talking to a lot of people offline about some of the things going on down there. So, as you guys have heard, we talked about on our break in the confirmation hearing this morning, all 64 people aboard an American Airlines jet that collided with an Army helicopter are presumed dead. It's no longer a recovery effort. It's no longer trying to save anybody. It's pretty much just recovering bodies right now. And we got some more on that. One of the things that I seen, I think it was late last night, that wasn't confirmed, but now it is. 14 people on that plane were from the figure skating community. They were killed in the plane crash. 6 of them from the Boston Club, and I seen some different things. I've seen some things on there, like I said last night. It says, Josh, when I went to the website, something strange happened. What happened to the website? Hold on one second. Let me check this out. I'm showing we're good. Got the donate now button right there. You just click that. Huh. I don't know what's up. Anyways, so moving forward, staffing was not normal at the airport tower, according to preliminary FAA report. It says staffing at the air traffic control tower at Ronald Reagan National Airport was not normal for the time of day and volume of traffic. It says, according to an internal preliminary Federal Aviation Administration safety report about the collision that was reviewed by the New York Times, the controller who was handling helicopters in the airport's vicinity Wednesday night was also instructing planes that were landing and departing from its runways. Those jobs are typically assigned to 2 controllers rather than 1. This increases the workload for the air traffic controller and can complicate the job. One reason is the controllers can use different radio frequencies to communicate with pilots flying planes and pilots flying helicopters. While the controller is communicating with pilots of the helicopter and jet, the 2 sets of pilots may not be able to hear each other. We had Trump come out again. We'll get some information on that. And then you have people, again, Trump is trying to end what has gone so wrong for so long, especially with the woke DEI policies. We're going to have some of those. We've seen that people aren't hired based on merit in Biden's federal government with Democrats in charge. They want to hire people because of what they do in their bedroom, what they pretend to be of the opposite sex, or because of the color of their skin. Attorney General Rob Bonta posted this. What happened? There we go. And it says, rather than waiting for results of an investigation, President Trump is trying to turn last night's tragedy into talking points. DEI programs did not crash the plane. Blaming DEI is racist. Guys, this is the Attorney General of California saying blaming DEI is racist. This is how woke our Attorney General in California is. It's an insult to those grieving, those who serve in the military and air traffic control. This is just, again, Rob Bonta, worthless, same one that wants teachers to keep secrets from you and your children when they're in school. They want the teachers, when the kid has a mental health issue and feels comfortable enough to mention it at school or to a teacher, they want to hide that information from a parent. But that will all be changing very soon. Just absolutely insane. But that was the preliminary reports from the FAA. Again, they're doing a deep dive. They're looking, Trump has his entire team looking at it. But the staffing for the air traffic control tower was not normal. So they usually, in that time of the day with that much aircraft in the air, whether it's helicopters or planes, jets, there's usually 2 of those folks there. So we'll have to see what happens. This is shortly, not long ago.
We have a presidential memorandum.
Trump signs more executive orders. Take a listen to this.
Sir,
Thank you.
second for your signature, we have a presidential memorandum titled Immediate Assessment of Aviation Safety. In light of the damage done to aviation safety by the Biden administration's DEI and woke policies, what this presidential memorandum orders is for your Secretary of Transportation and FAA administrator, in this case, acting FAA administrator, to basically ensure that we are actively undoing all of that damage, that we are assessing how much damage was done, and that we're ensuring that people hired within the FAA, in keeping with your memorandum of January 21st, are only the most outstanding, capable people for the jobs that they're being hired into.
In other words, competence.
Yes, sir. Elevating competence over everything else instead of the DEI policies that were pursued by the Biden administration.
I think everyone understands that. And Obama,
Yes.
both of them. Okay, but Biden much worse, not even a contest. What they've done is just crazy in so many other ways. Okay?
Mr. President, to be clear, are you saying race or gender played a role in this tragedy?
It may have, I don't know. Incompetence might have played a role. We'll let you know that. But we want the most competent people. We don't care what race they are. We want the most competent people, especially in those positions. And, you're talking about extremely complex things. And if they don't have a great brain, a great power of the brain, they're not going to be very good at what they do, and bad things will happen.
Absolutely. And when he talks about incompetence, I see people saying, oh, he's blaming the air traffic controller, that poor guy. That poor guy probably had some leadership that obviously didn't put another man or woman into that air traffic control room so that he had the proper staffing. It doesn't mean it's his fault. That's what people, again, it's just let's attack Trump. Trump talk. Let's attack Trump. And I'll be honest, I fly a lot. And I try, time and time again, I've had complete planes full of woke DEI stewardess. Thank God they weren't flying. It was funny. We did one, and it had a United Airlines. It was like 2 years ago on United Airlines where they had, I can't remember what it was, if it was in the air terminal or if it was on the side of the plane. I just remember it being there. The rainbow pride crap everywhere, which nobody cares. You do what you do. I don't need to worship you or promote you. And when we got in there, oh my gosh, you could tell the stewardess on this plane and exactly that. I mean, let's just say the guy on the plane acted more feminine than most women I know. And it was just one of those. So, you know what? We need to hire people that are competent, not because of what they do in their bedrooms, because of the color of their skin or anything else. And if you guys want some examples, this is what Biden's FAA prioritized. National Outreach Program for Diversity and Inclusion. People with Disabilities program ensures people that with disabilities have equal federal employment opportunity. The FAA actively recruits, hires, promotes, retains, develop, and advances people with disabilities. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't hire somebody from disability, but severe intellectual disability is on there. Not saying that the FAA hired these people in the traffic controller stuff, but again, instead of just hiring on merit, guess what? I got 100 applications. Who is most qualified for this position, right? Isn't that what we want as Americans? I can tell you, I want my pilot to be prepared. I want my stewardess, in case of an emergency, to not be flinging their arms all around, being all dramatic, in a little girl style attitude. And again, it's, I mean, you guys have seen it. I don't have to explain it to you. You know, Starbucks just woke up a little while ago, and Starbucks was being protested. I thought it was funny. When they went back to a coffee shop. They're no longer a homeless shelter. If you guys remember a couple years ago, they kicked a black man out for not purchasing anything and taking up some of their seats in their restaurant. And they said, hey, you gotta purchase something or you gotta go. This isn't a lobby. This is a coffee shop. Well, the left outrage, and then they changed their policies where they're going back to being a coffee shop. They're getting rid of some of their woke stuff too. And everywhere is doing it. Target, there was protests at Target 3 days ago. It was just incredible. I think those protests were in, one of them was in the San Diego area, actually. So it's just one of those things, guys. It's going to hurt some lefties' feelings. There's going to be liberal tears everywhere because we're not picking people because of what they do in their bedroom or how oppressed they think they are. It's just crazy. So this is what I talked about at the beginning of the show. And don't forget, guys, really quick, I'm going to say this a couple times because we are doing the drawing at the end of the show. You guys got about 16 minutes in. I'm going to say 30 minutes to get in. It's for either a double XL or a triple XL. Those two sizes for this jersey here. That's the back of it. It says Trump 47 with a cross. The front of it says MAGA with an American flag. These jerseys, one of those jerseys will be sent to you. If you want to get in and become a winner and we get that shipped out to you tomorrow. Yeah, it's already $240. Tomorrow, all you have to do is any $10 donation. You could do $20, $30. That's 3 entries. Venmo at Oreo Josh, Cash App, $ Oreo Army, givesendgo.com/Oreo 2024. Or if you prefer Zelle, you can go to our website, theoreoexpress.com, and there's a donate now button. We appreciate your support. This is how we are able to travel, get hotel expenses, airline expenses, and we appreciate you. So this was former New Jersey Senator Bob Menendez. Listen to what he says.
Welcome to the Southern District of New York.
Again, he was sentenced to 11 years. Remember, we were actually down in Manhattan when he was coming out of the courtroom. We got him pretty good. Jan Garner, there we go. 2 more for Jan. She's in for 2 more. I will add you, Jan, here shortly. Yeah, you guys can also do it in the Rumble rants, by the way. Jan 2. So listen to this and what he says about our court system.
Welcome to the Southern District of New York, the Wild West of political prosecutions. President Trump is right. This process is political and it's corrupted to the core. I hope President Trump cleans up the cesspool and restores the integrity to the system.
Are you going to ask for a pardon? You seeking a pardon, Senator Menendez?
Now, the reason why I was going to say this is because they ask, are you going to ask President Trump? He says everything President Trump said about the justice system. It's political. Now, if he did the crime and it wasn't all the stuff that went on with Trump, well, you got to do the time. But somebody said it would be a perfect time to offer this man 100% immunity, 100% pardon for him to turn on his own party, for him to come out and literally testify against the Democrats, because this man's been a Democrat, a diehard Democrat for a long time. He knows a lot of dirt on a lot of Democrats. And I thought, man, that would be worth it. That would be worth it. I don't see a pardon for him if he just, because he's saying the courts are corrupt. He hasn't shown like Trump did how it was a political persecution. But imagine if the DOJ goes up to him and says, hey, You're in New Jersey. We have these senators you've worked really close with, and we want to offer you a pardon if you can give us dirt that'll put away a couple of these Democrats that have been doing some bad stuff. I think that would just be epic, because you know what? This man's loaded. He doesn't care. I mean, he was in it for power. He's your typical politician, but just to know, and his wife hasn't even gone to trial yet. So his wife is also going to be sentenced from everything we assume. So imagine that deal that could be worked out. When I heard that, I was like, I could get behind that. So check this out. Breaking. The U.S. Appeals Court ruled that decades-old government ban on the sale of federally licensed firearms to adults under the age of 21 is unconstitutional. Let me show you. This was a Newsmax right before I went on air. I seen this. So appeals court overturns federal ban on gun sales to adults under the age 21. I always thought this was stupid. Same thing, even with alcohol, kind of. We can draft our 17, 18, 19-year-olds. Let's not even put, Matt says, because Matt's in. Thank you, Matt. I hope you're not letting Jalen make those drinks for you. I think that's why you're under the weather right now. We've talked about that. We won't say too much on here. But if you can go to war and you can lose your life for this country, but you can't come back to this country and have your Constitution, your Second Amendment rights. And again, I think we're going to see a lot more of this on gun laws. It's going to be absolutely fabulous the next couple years. There is no reason. I got my first gun. Well, I got my first gun when I was like 6. I grew up in the country. I was shooting guns. My dad's favorite 44 at like 8 years old. I was shooting 22s at like 5 years old. All my kids, we have taken to do the same. But tell me that is not crazy. You go off to college, you have a decent job, you got yourself a little apartment, you're 19, 20 years old, and you want to arm yourself because you're living near the college. And if you live near Fresno State or many of these other colleges, probably not the safest place in the world, and you want to have a gun to protect yourself, no, it's against the law. Well, no, it's not. The Constitution says I got a right. A Second Amendment right that shall not be infringed. And so appeals court overturns the federal ban. That is good news. Let me read a little of it to you. Winning. Texas RW brought some. He says I jammed his AR-15 at the range. That is not the truth, guys. He made this from like some $69 3D printer. And literally after the first shot, half of it melted. So U.S. ban on gun sales to adults under the age 21 is unconstitutional, court rule. Says a decades-old U.S. government ban on federally licensed firearm dealers selling handguns to adults under the age of 21 is unconstitutional, a U.S. appeals court held on Thursday, citing recent U.S. Supreme Court rulings expanding its gun rights. The ruling by the New Orleans-based 5th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals marked the first time a federal appeals court has held that the prohibition violated the right to keep and bear arms enshrined in the U.S. Constitution's Second Amendment. The appeals court had previously upheld the same ban in 2012, but that was before a 6-3 conservative majority U.S. Supreme Court handed down landmark ruling in 2022 that established a new test for assessing modern firearm laws. Remember, we covered that. What's up, C10? Patricia Joy, how are you doing? Thank you guys for being in the house. This is just crazy. Man. It says, in New York, State and Rifle Pistol Association versus Bruin, the Supreme Court held that modern gun restrictions were required to be consistent with the nation's historical tradition of firearm regulation. So just because the last 20 years we've put all this rules on it, we're going back to when the Second Amendment was created. So a good example, and they're still working on some court cases. But if you are, and this is just the truth, 70 years ago, if you were convicted of a felony, let's just say, and I don't even know if it was a felony or not, back 70 years ago, say you got in a DUI crash that injured somebody. Well, these days, now you can't own a firearm if you're a convicted felon. Why? Didn't do anything. I mean, he made a mistake. Don't see why you got to take a Second Amendment rights away. And now we're starting to go back to that, especially after the Supreme Court ruled on that. It says a group of individuals between the 18 and 20, along with the gun rights groups, the Firearm Policy Coalition, and the Second Amendment Foundation, challenged the ban in 2020 and was appealing the lower court judge's decision upholding the statute. U.S. Circuit Court Judge Edith Jones, writing for Thursday's 3-judge panel, said the decision was wrong as the states were unconstitutional in the light of our nation's historic tradition of firearm regulation. The U.S. Department of Justice, during Democratic former President Joe Biden's tenure, had defended the ban, but Jones said it put forth scant evidence to show that the gun rights of adults ages 18 to 20 were similarly restricted during the nation's founding eras of the 1700s. So they are going back, just like with free speech. And that when the free speech was put in there, the First Amendment, they put the Second Amendment right in there because they knew you would need the Second Amendment to defend the First Amendment. There was no such thing as hate speech. If it offended your feelings, that's too bad. And I just love this. So I'm sure Attorney General Rob Bonta out of California is already working using my tax dollars here in California to try to appeal this. I'll put money on it. And we'll talk about that tomorrow because it'll take some time to come out. But that's good news, guys. And Jay Lynn says, no drink will affect Matt because he eats organic. That's right, he does. We could deport everybody. That ain't going to affect the price of his groceries, his vegetables. Oh, that was great. Extremist who tried to kill Scott Bessent with a Molotov cocktail revealed to be trans woman inspired by Luigi Mangione. We covered this yesterday. I think we have some more on it right here. Let's see. The trans person accused of going to the Capitol area to carry out terrorist attack on members of Trump administration told investigators he was trying to kill the Nazi Secretary of Defense or other Republicans. He was inspired by posts on Reddit. I don't know if you guys go to Reddit. I go to Reddit once in a while. I got to tell you a story here in a minute. I go to Reddit once in a while to look how bad they're talking about me. I love the stories. But again, Reddit is mainly, at least from what I see, I've been banned on there when I posted on there before, just being pro-Trump. So you can always see what's going on. But again, we have a mental health crisis in this country. And we don't want to address it. As a nation, we need to come together and be like, hey, these trans people that are shooting up schools that think they're the opposite sex than they are, that is not normal. There is something wrong, and we need to get them help. And I'm sure that will come out over the next couple years. It might, the way Trump's administration is moving, it might come out sooner than ever. But the other night, I can't remember what I was looking about, but I Googled my name, and I'll do that once in a while because all the stories, ultra far right MAGA, this and that. And I found a website that just had like 15 articles on me. And I was just laughing so hard. I was grateful that they put my name out there, even though they thought they were making me look bad. I look like a hero in my eyes because I was standing up for what's right, whether it was the school board, whether it was the DOJ that came in and destroyed my house with a search warrant because they didn't want me to, because they just wanted to politically persecute me. And so it was just insane. But so this person was inspired by posts on Reddit. Interesting. So I was just reading some of your comments. It's just interesting. So, guys, yesterday when we were covering, was it yesterday? Today's Thursday. It might have been Tuesday. We were covering the first White House press briefing from the beautiful and intelligent press secretary. And we got another beautiful and intelligent woman that has a press pass, and she is getting eaten alive. Why? Because she's not a leftist, because she's not a communist, because she actually writes real stories. And that is Natalie Winters. Take a look at her. And I think she looks great there. I seen her that day. I actually seen that post. She was excited. The post says, War Room White House correspondent. Well, all these articles came out about how inappropriately she was dressed and that sweater. Take a look at this, guys. Honestly, it almost looks like, I mean, it looks great. It looks very professional. I get that it's not a man with a beard pretending to be a woman like most of these journalists want, but I was just amazed. So she did a post here, and it says, the journalist behind this piece, Jane Hers, got a master's degree in journalism to write up a non-hate comments over my sweater. What a gross, pathetic life you have. And then you look at that person, and I'm not going to be too mean right here, but I'm just going to say there is not enough cosmetic surgery in the world. There's not enough of anything that'll make you look like Natalie Winters. And congrats to Natalie for having a White House press thing. I heard, let me pull this up. 84,000 people responded to the White House for press credentials. We did right after we got off the live. Don't know if we'll get them. It'd be nice to have them for when we're in DC. We can go in the press room. But I just thought that was just absolutely insane number. And Daily Mail Online put controversial White House correspondent slammed over inappropriate. Let me pull this up. Inappropriate outfits. Again, because she looked like a beautiful woman. Women aren't supposed to look like that in Democrat eyes. It says controversial White House correspondent Natalie Winters is being slammed for the outfit she wore on the first day of her new job. Winters, the co-host of Steve Bannon's War Room on Rumble, recently began reporting about the first weeks of Donald Trump's administration in Washington, D.C. The correspondent has already proved to be a controversial figure, as she openly declared that she was transphobic and even posted inflammatory messages on X, formerly Twitter, about transgender people. Winters has also been branded as an Islamophobe by viewers of Piers Morgan. Now, the 23-year-old is making headlines once again, this time for the outfit she wore Tuesday. She posted a photo on Instagram on her first day on the job, sharing multiple snaps of her on air standing in front of the White House. Officially a White House correspondent, Winters wrote the caption after correcting her spelling correspondent, which she had written on X. In the snap, Winters wears a black top with a white collared shirt layered underneath, as well as a white leather skirt with chevron print on it. I want to pull this up. You tell me if you guys like. This is why they're triggered, folks. They want her to look like the guy that was pretending to be a woman for HHS, and they say RFK Jr.'s unqualified. That's funny. And then check this out. We're going to move on from that. Quinnipiac University poll. I seen this yesterday. I meant to share it and didn't share it. I want you to see this right here. The Democrat Party has never been more unpopular in modern American history. In today's poll, again, this is from Quinnipiac. In today's poll, 31% of voters have a favorable opinion of the Democratic Party, while 57% have an unfavorable opinion. This is the highest percentage of voters having an unfavorable opinion of the Democratic Party since Quinnipiac University poll began asking the question. Why? Well, they're doubling down on things. Remember, it's white supremacy if you work out. It's white supremacy if you want your border closed and you want border security and no one who's in this country. You are a bigot and a homophobe if you don't want your children or grandchildren to be taught transgenderism and your teachers keeping secrets from you. That is the Democrat Party. Many people have walked away, even people that hate Trump voted for Trump this time. And so I just thought that poll was interesting. I wanted to share that with you. Rockstar says she's looking too white. That could be a problem too. She does look white there. She's going to have to, I don't know, get a little tan going on, because the darker you are, the less, well, now they go after Black MAGA too. FCC chair launches investigation into NPR and PBS. Good. Remember, this is publicly funded radio and TV. It is extremely biased, and we've covered it numerous times of how biased it is when it's supposed to be non-political affiliation, non-partisan. It says the chair of the Federal Communication is launching. Hold on, let me get this off the screen. Put this up here. Is launching an investigation into NPR and PBS over their alleged airing of commercials. I am concerned that NPR and PBS broadcasts could be violating federal law by airing commercials. FCC Chair Brendan Carr, and God bless Trump for nominating Brendan Carr to the seat. Brendan Carr wrote to the news outlets in a letter first obtained by the New York Times. In particular, it is possible that NPR and PBS member stations are broadcasting underwriting announcement that crossed the line into prohibited commercial advertisements. It says in a statement to The Hill on Thursday, NPR president and CEO Catherine Marr said the outlet's programming and underwriting messages complies with federal regulations, including the FCC guidelines on underwriting message for non-commercial education broadcasters, and member stations are expected to be in compliance as well. Says we are confident any review of our programming and underwriting practices will confirm NPR's adherence to these rules, Marr said. We have worked for decades with the FCC in support of non-commercial educational broadcast who provide essential information, educational programming, and emergency alerts to local communities across the United States. It says a representative from PBS told The Hill the broadcaster is proud of the non-commercial education programming we provide to all Americans through our member stations. So this is good. Again, I'm hoping that we defund. There is no reason for these people to be using our tax dollars. They can, if they want to run a show or a program, a radio station, they can go find sponsors and they can spew their leftist BS talking points. But I'm no reason to do it. No reason. This isn't, I mean, at one time, maybe it was designed because there wasn't a whole lot of informational TV on, but everybody can get what Matt has, which is an Obama phone. And you get internet on the Obama phone, so you can find any information you need right through that. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, listen to this.
Purpose is our strength, and the Pentagon is excited.
What's happening with DEI? How's that going at the Defense Department?
Well, DEI is not going well at the Defense Department because it's dead. We will, as the president said in his inaugural, we will be merit-based and colorblind, and that is the case at the Defense Department. DEI is going to be ripped out root and branch because we want everyone treated equally with high standards and held accountable with warfighting, lethality, and readiness front and center. We don't have time for emphasizing differences. Jesse, one of the dumbest phrases in military history is our diversity is our strength. Our diversity is not our strength. Our unity and our shared purpose is our strength. And the Pentagon is excited to get back to that core mission. It's happening rapidly. The services are responding, and those that don't want to respond can work somewhere else. So diversity, equity, inclusion will not be a part of the Defense Department.
Oh my God, imagine that. We're going to have a Defense Department that worries about defense instead of what you do in your bedroom or the color of your skin. More good news. More good news. I love that. I can't think about it enough. And really quick, just to tie into DEI, we covered the Los Angeles fires, the San Diego fires pretty extensively through the Oreo Express. And I seen Alex Villanueva post this. It said, too bad the LA County Board of Supervisors priorities didn't include public safety or emergency management. Now, where was the puppet LA County Sheriff when Altadena was on fire? And he tagged Real Donald Trump, LA Times, and Fox News. So he did a screenshot. Matt says, I took it from an NGO. It's free and you're paying for it. First Amendment media. So you want to see what their board directed priorities were? This is from their website. Anti-racism, diversity, and inclusion. Care first, jail last. Chief Sustainability Office. Child protection, environmental health, healthcare integration, homeless initiative, immigration, and poverty alleviation initiative. Anti-racism, diversity, and inclusion was their first thing there. Nothing. That's the LA County Board of Supervisors. Nothing on that Board of Supervisors said anything about their community, their actual tax-paying community. The people that lost their homes, the people that were wondering why, that their choice was to put a fat lesbian in charge instead of somebody who was competent. And we're seeing so much of this, and they are getting just their ass handed to them. There's now street signs. I didn't, excuse me, I didn't pull up the post, but they're now tagging the mayor to resign on street signs, literally taggers up there doing this. You can't make it up. You can't make it up. And before we get into some of the confirmation hearing recap, last reminder, again, you guys got about less than 20 minutes to get in. If you want an opportunity to win a double XL or triple XL jersey, let me show you this thing. There you go. You got MAGA 47. You got Trump with a cross right there. If you want a chance to win it, we are going to be doing this at the end of the show, doing a drawing. The ways you can get in is any $10 donation, any $10 increment. So you can do $20 for 2 entries. Your name will go on the wheel of names, and we will spin at the end of the show. You can donate by going to Venmo, Oreo Josh, Cash App, $Oreo Army, givesendgo.com/Oreo 2024. Or if you want to go to our website for the Zelle, if you use Zelle to transfer, you can go to the OreoExpress.com, and there's a donate now button. So you guys, again, this is how we do all the stuff. This is one of the ways we can get hotel rooms and everything else. We appreciate your support. It's an absolute blessing to cover everything we have, but you only got 20 minutes to get in, and that 20 minutes, we're going to close it up. So thank you all. Thank you all. Adam Schiff today. It's just going through the Kash Patel stuff. We covered it live. Listen to this. Kash Patel just letting pencil neck Schiff know.
I want you to turn around. There are Capitol Police officers behind you. They're guarding us. Take a look at them right now. Turn around.
I'm looking at you. You're talking to.
I want you to look at them if you can, if you have the courage to look them in the eye, Mr. Patel, and tell them you're proud of what you did. Tell them you're proud that you raised money off of people that assaulted their colleagues, that pepper sprayed them, that beat them with poles. Tell them you're proud of what you did, Mr. Patel. They're right there. They're guarding you today. Tell them how proud you are.
That's an abject lie, and you know it.
How
I've
proud you are.
never, ever accepted violence against law enforcement. I've worked with these men and women, as you know,
You
my entire
glorified it in
life,
song,
and I did
Mr.
not make
Patel.
a single dime out of
It in
it.
song. Well, let me.
How about you ask them if I have their backs, and let's see about that
Let me ask you
answer.
this, Mr. Patel. Let me ask you this. If an FBI director promoted a song of people who sprayed pepper spray in the face of an FBI agent, would you say they were fit to be director?
Mr.
Yes
Schiff,
or no? Would they be fit to be director?
I am fit to be the director of the FBI.
If you were the FBI director and you promoted a song to someone who beat an FBI agent with a pole, would you say you were fit to be FBI director?
Mr. Schiff, I am fit to be FBI director based on my 16
And
years
yet
of
you
government
did all these
service.
things, Mr. Patel. You can say, oh, I support law enforcement. I decry violence against law enforcement. You can say all that.
pledge allegiance.
It's what you
the
did,
flag
Mr. Patel, that
of the United
matters.
States
It's what
of
you
America.
did that matters.
This song absolutely triggers them. The J6 Prison Choir.
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just incredible. So they were triggered over that song because money was raised to help J6 families with that song. It went to the families. And so the look in Kash Patel's eyes are just wait till I'm confirmed. There's so much that Adam Schiff has done, unconstitutional, tyrannical, all the lies that he told the American people that will be held accountable. I used to not think any of these people would be held accountable, but now after we're like, what's the date today? 10 days into the Trump administration, woo, I have a little difference of opinion. So that is great. That is great. We had Kathy says, I never win anything, so this is a donation. You never know. We're going to put you in. And then we had KLM 79 come up with another entry. And let me see really quick. It looks like Chad is in for let me let it update. Chad is in for another one. So Chad, we were down there with Chad. We got to shoot some pool with Chad in San Diego, one of our Patriot brothers down there. Thank you guys for entering. Thank you guys for your support. It means the world to me. How about this one, since we're doing a recap?
The rest of the interview. This is why snippets of information are often misleading and detrimental to this committee's advice and consent
Well,
process.
if you consent, I would love to have 5 hours of questions and then I could read the whole transcript.
You've got 2 minutes.
Wow.
Damn! You got 2 minutes. I remember the I remember the old Republican Party. The old Republican Party would always cower down to these communist Marxist and just not. I mean, you've seen what they've done from everybody to Kavanaugh to everybody else. Remember what they did to Justice Clarence Thomas as well. It was disgusting. And we were just told to turn the other cheek, just sit down and take one for the team. And those days are over. There's no need to turn the other cheek. There's a time and a place for everything. And God bless Kash Patel. And we got some other stuff too. We got some more stuff on Kash Patel. This was an interesting one today. Listen to this.
In a general way, you brought up public trust at 41%. So in a general way, without going for an hour, tell me what you're going to do to increase the public trust of the FBI.
Simple. Make sure we don't have 100,000 rapes in this country next year. Make sure we don't have 100,000 drug overdoses from Chinese fentanyl and Mexican heroin. And make sure we don't have 17,000 homicides. Those numbers need to be cut in half immediately. And the public will regain trust in the FBI and law enforcement once we achieve that mission.
You brought up
simple. Make sure we don't have
a general.
Hold on, let me close that. 100,000 rapes, 100,000 overdoses, 17,000 murders in this country. Those numbers need to be cut in half, and public will regain trust in the FBI. They did nothing to stop violent crime. Violent crime rose. They tried to lie and say that they had cut violent crime, but the truth was, and Kash Patel actually called this out today, only 70% of the cities reported their data to the FBI, and many of our largest cities with a lot of murders did not. So those things are going to be changing. Those things are going to be changing, and that's great news. This was another one a lot of people like.
Senator
Listen
Durbin,
to this.
I want to talk to you about the Epstein case. I have worked on this for years, trying to get those records of who flew on Epstein's plane and who helped him build this international human trafficking, sex trafficking. Now, earlier, I urged then Chairman Durbin to subpoena those records, and I ended up being blocked by Senator Durbin and Christopher Wray. They stonewalled on this. And I know that breaking up these trafficking rings is important to President Trump. So will you work with me on this issue so we know who worked with Jeffrey Epstein in building these sex trafficking rings?
Absolutely, Senator. Child sex trafficking has no place in the United States of America, and I will do everything, if confirmed as FBI director, to make sure the American public knows the full weight of what happened in the past.
Amen. Amen. A lot of folks are excited about that. Again, this is this administration, and pray that he gets confirmed. This was another one, and then we're going to move on to RFK Jr. was having a hearing, and Tulsi Gabbard. We're going to talk about those. It says, listen to this, and we've talked about it. This has to do with J6. We talked about it from the beginning.
The
Trump
chairman of
talked
Joint
about
Chiefs
it.
of Staff and myself.
Doing on that day?
On that day specifically, responding to preparing to mobilize and deploy the National Guard once we got the lawful request from the local governing authority, which was the mayor of DC and the Speaker of the House.
Now, how many days in advance were you working to prepare the Department of Defense to help secure the Capitol on January 6th?
Days in advance, Senator, we were in the Oval Office on an unrelated national security matter with the President of the United States, the Secretary of Defense, the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and myself. And the President authorized up to 20,000 plus National Guardsmen and women to secure any security measures necessary related to the Capitol. So we were moving to the fullest extent of the law before the requisite request came from a local governing authority days ahead of time.
And while you were Chief of Staff at DOD, how many times did DOD approach Capitol Police and ask if they needed National Guard assistance?
I believe those letters are well documented, numerous instances, and numerous of those instances, those requests were shut down.
Now, am I correct that the Capitol Sergeant at Arms said assistance was unnecessary?
That's correct, Senator.
Who did the Sergeant at Arms report to?
The Speaker of the House.
That would have been Nancy Pelosi at the time. Is that correct?
Yes, Senator.
And would that also be Chuck Schumer, then the Senate Majority Leader?
The Sergeant at Arms, yes, Senator, reports up there.
Did Mayor Bowser, the Democrat elected mayor in D.C., either request or allow National Guard assistance?
She put in writing on the days leading up to January 6th, a declination for National Guard additional support. And that letter is available publicly to the world.
So, and just to speak English for folks at home, a declination meant she said, no, don't send National Guard. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you a simple question, because from the questioning from my Democrat colleagues, they might think otherwise. Do you condemn violence against law enforcement?
All of it.
Folks, I'm not funded by any big corporations or anybody. I am funded by.
That's crazy, guys. It's just good that it's coming out in front. We've all heard it. We've covered it, but it's coming out right in front of these hearings. There's people out there that don't get their media or their information from independent journalists. They just turn on their news, and they might have been watching that today on C-SPAN, and they got the truth. They got the truth. That was absolutely epic. Listen to this. It says RFK Jr. exposes a
Asian. Three times the cost.
Sorry. It says RFK Jr. exposes major flaw in NIH scientific study protocol and vows to major changes when confirmed. Listen to this.
Means real scientific research with replication of studies, which very rarely happens now at NIH. We should be giving at least 20% of the NIH budgets to replication. We should make sure that all the science is published with the raw data. We should make sure that the peer reviews are also published. And I'll give you a quick example. 20 years ago, NIH scientists did a study on Alzheimer's, which they said it was caused by amyloid plaque. After that, NIH shut down studies of any other hypothesis. 20 years later, we now know that those studies were fraudulent. NIH has funded 800 studies on a fraudulent hypothesis, and we've lost 20 years in figuring out how to a cure for Alzheimer's.
Imagine that. Common sense. This is why we need somebody in there to actually do this. And then Senator Tuberville, I thought this was just kind of a funny, but it's kind of true.
Attention deficit problem in this country. Attention deficit, when you and I were growing up, our parents didn't use a drug, they used a belt and whipped our butt, and told us to sit down. Nowadays, we give them Adderall and Ritalin like candy across college campuses and high school campuses.
Yes, they do. And I do believe there is a purpose for those drugs. I myself, and many people could tell this by I'm always going. I've had ADD my whole life. They've offered me drugs. I almost decided to try them out, but I look at it as a benefit. I can work longer hours. I can work harder hours. I can do a lot of things that I don't think most people can. I don't think it's a disability by any stretch of the imagination, but there are some cases that I think require some type of intervention that was from pharmaceuticals. And I think you should have that right to get it. I just don't think it should be overprescribed as much as it is. I mean, we overprescribe everything in this country. We are a big pharma country. If you look at SSRIs, if you look at all these things for depression and everything else and compare it to other countries, we blow them out of the water. Take a listen to this. Good old Bernie Sanders. RFK Jr. got Bernie Sanders today, the person who is bought and paid for by Big Pharma. Listen.
Money from the pharmaceutical, they came.
I'm going to make America healthier than other countries in the world right now.
Will you guarantee do what every other major country does? It's a simple question.
And by the way, Bernie, the problem of corruption is not just in the federal agencies, it's in Congress too. almost all the members of this panel are accepting, including yourself, are accepting millions of dollars from the pharmaceutical industry.
Oh, no,
and
no,
protecting
no,
their interests.
Oh, I thought that would, no. I ran for president like you. I got millions
know.
and millions of contributions. They did not come from the executives, not one nickel of PAC money from the pharmaceutical industry. They came from workers.
In 2020, you were the single largest
Because I had
receiver of
full
pharmaceutical money.
contributions from workers all over this country. Workers,
You were the
this
single-
not a nickel from corporate
Ernie,
PACs.
you were the single largest acceptor of
working-
pharmaceutical dollars.
No,
Oh, isn't that great? Isn't that great? Just a hypocrisy. And he is red. He is as red as my highlighted comment, Tiger. He is red. Look at that. Look at how red he is. He got caught. He got caught with his hand in the cookie jar, folks, as they used to say. This is another one. This is a little bit longer, but listen to this. And again, just a whole lot of information coming out of these confirmation hearings. And I'm hoping I don't think a whole lot of people take time to watch confirmation hearings. 15 years ago, I never would have. Now I try not to miss them or at least update myself on them so I can hear what's going on.
Beyond All Pale, The
Listen
Speckled
to this.
Monster is a great book about. I think the discussion over vaccines is so oversimplified and dumbed down that we never really get to real truths. And it's why people up here are so separated from real people at home. So we talk about hepatitis B. It's a terrible disease. It could lead to liver failure, as the chairman said. But the reason you have distrust from people at home, why they don't believe anything you say, they don't believe government at all, is you're telling my kid to take a hepatitis B vaccine when he's 1 day old. You get it through drug use and sexually transmitted. That's how you get hepatitis B. But you're telling me my kid has to take it at 1 day old. That's not science. And so every person with a bit of common sense, even people who don't resist vaccines, I vaccinated all my kids. I believe vaccines are one of the modern miracles beyond all pale. The Speckled Monster is a great book about the introduction of the smallpox vaccine in 1720 into our country. All miracles. But I'm not a one size fits all. It's not all or nothing. I chose to wait on my hepatitis B vaccine, and we did it when they went to school. Does that make me an awful person? Does that make me an anti-vaxxer because I questioned the government dictate of whether I do it? And I'm not speaking for anybody else. I'm only speaking for myself. But for goodness sakes, let's have an honest debate about these things. The COVID vaccine. If you ask me my opinion, the reporters run up and down the hall and they say, "You still anti-vaccine?" No, I'm pro-vaccine. But on the COVID vaccine, and on the COVID illness, there was a 1,000-fold or more difference between the elderly and children. If you don't acknowledge that, you're committing malpractice. You're showing your ignorance. If you say a 6-month-old must be mandated to get it, the science is not there. So all this blather about the science says this and the science says that, no, it doesn't. The science actually shows that no healthy child in America died from COVID. Look it up. No healthy child died from COVID. And so the thing is that it's 1,000-fold greater. So if you ask me my advice as a physician, if you were 65 or older or overweight and some other conditions, I would have said, hell yes, I'd take the COVID vaccine. The risks of the disease were real and much greater than the vaccine. But if you ask me, should my healthy 6-month-old get it? See, these are the nuances you're unwilling to talk about because there's such a belief in submission. Submit to the government. Do what you're told. There is no discussion. There ought to be a debate. You're not going to let him have the debate because you're just going to criticize and say, it is this and admit to it or we're not going to appoint you. But it's more complicated than that. And this is why people distrust government because you're unwilling to have these conversations. And go home, ask your Democrat young mothers, your Republican young mothers, if they're vaccinating their kid for hepatitis B and they're like, well, do I have to do it on day one? It's this precious little baby. Is there science to say you shouldn't do it? Probably not, but it's my kid. You know, it's like there isn't clear-cut science saying not to. But on autism, there's no good science of anything to show what causes autism. We don't know. It's a profound disease. I know many moms here and dads who have kids with autism. I know them personally. I've met their kids. But the thing is they saw their kids developing completely normal, maybe speaking 100 words go to no words at about 15 months of age. Now, there isn't proof. There isn't proof that the vaccines cause it. That's true. There isn't proof that it causes it, but we don't know what causes it yet. So shouldn't we be at least open-minded? We take 72 vaccines. Could it be? I don't know. But we shouldn't just close the door and say we're no longer, because we believe so much in submission, we're not going to have an open mind to study these things. And so it's sort of this crazy notion. Schizophrenia, I would put in the same notion. You have a kid who's completely normal to 18 or 19, and their brain goes haywire. How does that happen? It's the most bizarre disease. Shouldn't we be open? Could it be our food? It might be vaccines. It might be our food, but autism is more common. I don't know about the schizophrenia statistics, but autism is more common. Shouldn't we want to be open-minded? Instead, we're so close-minded and we're so consensus-driven that the science says this. Well, science doesn't say anything. Science is a dispute, and 10 years from now, we could all be wrong. We were told in the beginning, 20 years ago, they did this enormous study, and they said, everybody over 50 should take an aspirin. I thought, well, that's a pretty good idea. It makes sense. But you know what? 20 years later, they measured it. And they found if you had no heart disease and you were taking aspirin, your chance of dying from a brain bleed or from a stomach bleed were greater than the risk of heart disease. If you have heart disease, they still say take an aspirin. If you don't, they've changed their mind 20 years later. But would you have all said I was crazy and I should no longer be in public discourse if I had said 20 years ago, I don't feel like taking an aspirin. I ride my bike all the time. I'm afraid I might hit my head. But that's what a country's about. It's what dissent is about. So just ask you to look at the larger picture and give the guy a break who says, I just want to follow the science where it leads without presupposition. I think really what we have up here is presupposition. You've already concluded. It's absolute that autism isn't caused by it. We don't know what causes autism, so we should be more humble in what we say. Sorry, I didn't get to a question.
Absolutely epic. Absolutely epic. Again, these conversations are now happening now. They didn't happen before. They were censored. There was no reason to actually do it because, as he said, you're crazy if you think. And I'm fully immunized. I do know people who I have a friend who their child took a two-year checkup. 2-year checkup at the doctor, got their vaccinations. The next day experienced a fever for 3 days and stopped talking. Now is pretty much a mute. They blame it on the vaccine. I can't think of anything else that would have caused it because nothing else in their life changed. I know multiple people like that, but I have a good friend exactly like that. So I'm always going to stand behind, if vaccines worked, you take it. Why are you going to force somebody else to? This is the party of my body, my choice. That's only when it comes to murdering children. So Edward Snowden, we're going to get into Tulsi Gabbard. Edward Snowden tweeted this out today. Tulsi Gabbard will be required to disown all prior support for whistleblowers as a condition of confirmation today. I encourage her to do so. Tell them I harmed national security and the sweet, soft feelings of staff in D.C. That's what passes for the Pledge of Allegiance. I thought that was excellent. And so we're going to get into some of this now. And there was some fire there. Listen to this.
Before I close, I want
her closing statement. We're going to start at the end.
I want to warn the American people who are watching at home. You may hear lies and smears in this hearing that'll challenge my loyalty to and my love for our country. Those who oppose my nomination imply that I am loyal to something or someone other than God, my own conscience, and the Constitution of the United States, accusing me of being Trump's puppet, Putin's puppet, Assad's puppet, a guru's puppet, Modi's puppet, not recognizing the absurdity of simultaneously being the puppet of 5 different puppet masters. The same tactic was used against President Trump and failed. The American people elected President Trump with a decisive the absurdity masters. The same tactic was used against President Trump and failed. The American people elected President Trump with a decisive victory and mandate for change. The fact is, what truly unsettles my political opponents is I refuse to be their puppet. Now, before I close, I want to warn the American people who are watching at home.
Wow, wow, wow. I like that. I like that. This is good stuff. Now listen to this here. Mark Kelly. This tweet said Tulsi Gabbard just nuked Mark Kelly back into space.
You gave an interview in which you said, and this is
Senator Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Colonel Gabbard, when Russia was denying us use of chemical weapons, they accused the U.S. of supporting terrorists. This is a line that Putin used frequently during the Syrian civil war as he supported Assad. Syrian officials made similar comments. They did it repeatedly. They did it in public. They did it at the United Nations. In 2016, you gave an interview in which you said, and this is a quote, "The U.S. is providing direct and indirect support to terrorist groups in order to overthrow the Syrian government." And in 2019, on the Democratic presidential debate stage, you said of President Trump, this is a quote, "This current president is continuing to betray us. We were supposed to be going after al-Qaeda, but over years now, not only have we not gone after al-Qaeda, our president is supporting al-Qaeda." So I'm interested to hear, what was your goal in saying these things? And did you consider, before saying them, the motives of Iran and Russia, what their motives might have been before making these claims?
Senator, as someone who enlisted in the military specifically because of al-Qaeda's terrorist attack on 9/11 and committing myself and my life to doing what I could to defeat these terrorists, it was shocking and a betrayal to me and every person who was killed on 9/11, their families and my brothers and sisters in uniform. When, as a member of Congress, I learned about President Obama's dual programs that he had begun really to overthrow the regime of Syria, and being willing to, through the CIA's Timber Sycamore program that has now been made public, of working with and arming and equipping al-Qaeda in an effort to overthrow that regime, starting yet another regime change war in the Middle East. DoD train and equip program, again, begun under President Obama, is widely been known, looked at and studied, that ultimately resulted in over $500 million being used to train who they called moderate rebels, but were actually fighters working with and aligned with al-Qaeda's affiliate on the ground in Syria, all to move forward with their regime change and not acknowledging what was obvious at the time and what has unfortunately borne true, which was that a regime change war in Syria, much like the regime change wars in Iraq, the toppling of Gaddafi and Mubarak, while these are all dictators, would likely result in the rise of Islamist extremists like al-Qaeda taking power. I shed no tears for the fall of the Assad regime, but today we have an Islamist extremist who is now in charge of Syria, as I said, who danced on the streets to celebrate the 9/11 attack, who ruled over Idlib with an Islamist extremist governance, and who has already begun to persecute and kill and arrest religious minorities like Christians in Syria.
I understand.
Why that should be acceptable to anyone is beyond me.
It shouldn't
is
be.
certainly
And
not in our
I appreciate your answer and thank you. My concern.
He just got. He's like, damn, why'd I ask her that question? Oh, you can't make this stuff up. Devi says, why are they wearing the lays behind her? She's from Hawaii. They're there in support of her. So they're showing their support and being from Hawaii. Is this the same
used
one?
frequently?
Yeah, that's the same one. Let's see. Man, that's the other one. I thought I had a different one. But as you can see, Tulsi Gabbard just killed it today. Again, there's a lot of people in the deep state that don't want Trump's nominations to be in. If he gets all these nominations, can you imagine this group working together? What that means for our future generations of this country? It will be epic. Epic. Now, this is going around. A traitor cop alert in Georgia. Georgia police officer Veronica Arnold says in Spanish, "We are not reporting or calling ICE to tell them that we are with an undocumented person." These are the people that are bad apples, and I would love to see her in an unemployment line. This is her right here.
Hola, buenos días. Estoy haciendo este video. Mucha gente, bueno, toda la gente me está preguntando que explique sobre ICE y qué es lo que está pasando con eso. Entonces, lo que les quería decir sobre eso es que nosotros como policía local no estamos reportando ni llamándole a ICE para decirle que nos encontramos con una persona indocumentada o cosas así. Entonces, lo que ICE está haciendo es independientemente de ellos. Nosotros no sabemos a qué personas están buscando, no sabemos dónde van a estar, cuándo van a estar y nada sobre eso. Yo sé que la gente piensa que nosotros los estamos llamando y que estamos trabajando con ellos, cuando en realidad nosotros no tenemos idea de dónde van a estar, cuándo van a estar y todo eso. Entonces, no sé si esto le puede ayudar un poquito a la comunidad. Lo único que nosotros sabemos sobre eso es que ellos están buscando a personas, a criminales violentos, pero no sabemos en qué se basan o si es lo único que están buscando, no sabemos nada sobre eso. Lo único que les puedo decir es que nosotros no estamos trabajando con ellos, o sea, no lo estamos, nosotros lo que hacemos es responder a llamadas de emergencia y crímenes, y aunque encontremos una persona indocumentada, no le estamos llamando a eso para avisarles sobre eso. Nosotros hacemos lo que siempre hemos hecho.
So anyways, you guys get it. And what's amazing, if the left truly called out racism, that is the most racist thing I've ever seen. She's racist against all the other illegals. Why didn't she do this in Chinese? Why didn't she do this in Russian? Why didn't she do this in Czech? Why didn't she do it in other French? There's people coming from 100 and something countries that not all of them speak Spanish. Why is she such a racist? I'm being fair, right? That's not equality. No, she's only protecting people that look like her. Imagine that. Imagine that. Typical Democrat. This is Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry announces the city will not cooperate with deportations. Check this out.
I want to speak directly to people who are undocumented. We love you. We care about you. In the city of Minneapolis, we will stand up for you, and we will do anything in our power to help. Because you're not an alien in our city, you're a neighbor. Now, in Minneapolis, we have what is called a separation ordinance. And that separation ordinance states clearly that our city officials, our police officers and beyond, will not be gathering information showing who is and who is not documented. We do not ask the question with regard to immigration status, and because we haven't asked the question, we don't have any data to show documentation status in our city. Our police officers will not be cooperating with federal law enforcement around federal immigration law. We enforce state and local laws here in Minneapolis, and we will do so to the best of our ability. But as for cooperation with ICE, the answer is no. And so, again.
Yep, that is terrorist supporter Ian Omar behind the one who illegally got citizenship here in the United States by marrying her brother. Here's another one I thought was interesting. This was from the Post Millennial. When we talk about all these people working against our federal law enforcement, which should be our partners. It's funny, every time one of these towns has a major crime, they always turn it over to the people that have the resources, which is the FBI, all those groups, all the three-letter agencies. And they sit there, we are standing side by side with our federal partners here in this. But when it comes to helping out the federal partners and their time of need, that isn't the case. Check this out. This post-millennial, a radio station owned by George Soros, reported the live location of undercover immigration, customs, and enforcement agents operating in San Jose, California, in an area known for violent gang activity. The incident occurred on January 26 when KCBS 740 AM radio host Brett Burkhart described the unmarked vehicles being used by ICE and the exact locations where ICE agents had been operating, according to Newsbusters. Burkhart was relaying information posted on social media by the Rapid Response Network, a leftist group that fights deportation initiatives. News Nation confirmed that January 27th that ICE was conducting operation in the area, and at that time, meaning the host potentially blew the agent's cover. Very interesting. Here's what's happening, Burkhart said. San Jose Mayor Matt Mahan and head councilman Peter Ortiz confirmed today that U.S. immigration and custom enforcement agencies are currently carrying out an operation on the east side of town. The Santa Clara County Rapid Response Network, which is a community defense project system for immigrant communities against deportation threats, first reported the activity on its platform. These people should be shamed. These people should not. You have the right to refuse service. I wish we had enough American patriot businesses. I'm going to see if I can find that place. Santa Clara County Rapid Response. See if they're on X. If you see ice pigs anywhere in Santa Clara County, call the Rapid Response Network to report it. And this is on the County of Santa Clara's website. Let's see. County of San. Look at what it says. Report ICE activity. We're going to have to get out that number and just have everybody continue calling. Maybe we'll plan something. So again, but there is some good news. A judge in California just ordered the reopening of a 2,000 capacity ICE detention center in Adelanto, California. If you guys don't know where Adelanto, California, that's actually where the truckers convoy started. It said the facility was closed down by Biden and Mayorkas. And it says this allows President Trump's deportation forces to conduct even more significant raids in California. And this is Geo. This is what it looks like. It is Adelanto ICE Processing Center. So as they're trying to do some things, we are gonna continue to win. And luckily for us, that judge made the correct decision. What else do we got here? Let's see. This one is great. So I seen this New York Post article. We told you about a Border Patrol officer that was killed. I think it was last week. I think we might have even been on the road, so we didn't cover it extensively. But it says national manhunt is underway for armed and dangerous woman tied to shooting death of Border Patrol agent David Malland in Vermont. Now let's get into this a little bit because Andy No has a great story about this. Liberal media has been uninterested in investigating the couple involved in shooting dead a U.S. Border Patrol agent in Coventry, Vermont, near the Canadian border on Inauguration Day. Why? Both in the duo are leftist trans militants. One of the deceased armed militants is a German believed to be in the country on an H-1B visa. The duo is allegedly connected to a trans terror cell. More trans terrorism, guys. Federal law enforcement has been surveilling German man Felix Ophelia Bockholt and Seattle UW student Teresa Milo Youngblood after staff at the Lyndonville, Vermont motel reported seeing them with black tactical clothing, weapons, and protective militia-style equipment. When the duo was pulled over on January 20th, Youngblood allegedly shot dead Officer David Malond in a surprise attack. In the returning fire, Balkalt, who was also armed, was killed. Youngblood was injured and survived. It says, I spoke with Jessica Taylor, a Berkeley, California woman who had met Balkalt over the years. She confirmed that Balkalt is trans. Let's pull this up, just see what these freaks, these trans terrorists here. And this is from Andy No. It says, as Ophelia, Felix Balkalt's social media and leaked private communication suggests Balkalt was connected to the violent trans militant cell, or cult, centered around a person who used the alias as Ziz. Members of the trans group have been involved in violence. It says, trans terrorism court filing strongly suggests the armed trans duo involved in the deadly attack on U.S. Border Patrol agent is indeed connected to a murderous trans militant cell allegedly linked to 3 homicides across the U.S. In shocking new details in a court filing today that affirms my earlier reporting, the trans duo allegedly responsible for the deadly attacks on U.S. Border Patrol officer allegedly used guns purchased by a member of the Ziz militant trans cell. The person is linked to the murder investigation of 3 elderly people in Vallejo, California, and Delaware County, Pennsylvania. So literally a trans terror cell in the United States. You're not seeing this on regular news. It's in the court filings. He provides those. I will be sharing out some more stuff on X on this. But why wouldn't the news hide it? I think we all know why the news would hide it. And it's unfortunate, guys. It's absolutely unfortunate. The media needs to change. If these were people wearing MAGA hats or even considered themselves conservatives and they were going around killing police officers, I mean, you can't even hit one without a flagpole without it coming up in any hearing, right? But these people are murdering our officers and not a word from anybody. It's just insane. So let's get over here. We're going to do, let me check everything and add some names to this. While we do this, I'm going to put on a little song in the background. Let's do this. There we go. Give me 1 second while I got to add to this.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Let me kick that on pause right now. Okay, so here's what I added from today. Jan Garner, 2 more. Matt, you got in there. Kathy Baltomiskis, you got in there. KLM 79 added 1, and Chad added +2 for a total of 3. I just want to make sure there was nothing I'm missing. Let's go to Give, Send, Go. Nope, nothing on Give, Send, Go. Let's go to Cash App. And then we'll go to Zelle. Yes, Cash App, Kathy Richardson. That was at 243. Thank you, Kathy. Ooh. Let's see if I missed anything here. Okay. Let's go to Zelle really quick. I think the last one before today. There you go. Sign in. Yep. Perfect. So we added Kathy, and let me check one other thing, which is right here. Hunter 7. I see people talking. I want to make sure you guys aren't saying I'm missing somebody. Okay, I don't think I am. I'll go back to the comments before I do this. Now go to the account overview. Make sure I got everybody who did a Rumble rant. That is down here. KLM was one more. Kathy, Matt, Jalen. Let's see. 2. Jan, Jeff, and Michelle. Did I get Jeff and Michelle from earlier? I don't think I did. Yep, Jeff and Michelle's on there. Okay, I think we're good. Patty Voss. Boom. And Bobby Rogers from yesterday's on there. I think we are good. Let me go to the chat and see my content. Okay. Seven times. Oh, is that how many times you want me to spin the wheel? I got you. I'm like, somebody got in 7 times and I'm missing it. You guys are freaking me out over here. All right. Epic Jams. Thank you so much for your Rumble rant. We appreciate you. Thank you so much, Epic Jams. It is a blessing and it keeps us paying the bills and on the road. So let me put myself really small over here. Let's shuffle 7 times. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And who's it going to be? We got Kathy Richardson, Chad Alvarez, Matt, Fairness 20, Micro Taz, Mom X Swift, Old Uncle Bill, KLM, Fairness 2020, Jay Lynn. We got Bobby Rogers, Patty Voss. Let's see, Jan Garner. I'm probably saying some of the names twice because they're all spread out. And Jeff and Michelle. And let's see who's gonna win this. Ready? And it's right as our clock that Jan Garner got us is saying, let's make America great again. Here we go. Micro Taz right next to Jan. Micro Taz. Congrats. I think you are in the chat too. Do you want a double XL or the triple XL? Let me know. And that way I can put that one aside. And this is what the prize was. We've got one of these in the package right here, but this is what it looks like. I'll be wearing mine this weekend. Trump 47 jersey. It's awesome. Micro Taz. You are in the chat. See, Jan Garner says congratulations. Jay Lynn says congratulations. Old Uncle Bill. And Mom Exo says, damn, just missed me. So double XL for Microtaz. Sounds good. Thank you guys so much. Microtaz, if you can send me an email at oreoexpress@yahoo.com, oreoexpress@yahoo.com with your address or where you would like it shipped to, I would appreciate it. I will get it packaged up this evening and have it dropped off in the morning to get to you. You'll probably get it. You crazy Californians usually get your mail within 2 days from me. So thank you so much. Microtest says, thank you. My hubby is going to love it. Right on. Congrats, guys. And we will see you guys. We're going to be around tonight. If anything breaks, we will be coming live for it. And again, thank you for the blessings and all your support. You guys have a good day. And also check out the commercial as we go out from mypillow.com. They got some new deals, free shipping right now on every order, and check out the cross chain. Here you go. Oh, you know what? I got to change it. Oh, yeah, there we go. There we go. Here we go, guys. Thank you.
I'm excited to announce that we're having our first ever mega sale on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save over 50% on this season's flannel sheets. Queen size only $59.98. Kings only $69.98. They sell out fast every year, so order now. Save 20% on our brand new My Crosses. They're designed in the likeness of the one I've worn every day for over 20 years. They come in men's and women's, and they're made right here in the USA. Get our 2025 six-piece My Towel sets for only $29.98. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. And our best-selling standard My Pillows, just $14.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our first ever mega sale. But wait, remember that $75 free shipping rule? Well, that ship is sailed because right now, every order ships absolutely free.